The North American Racing League takes to one of the most iconic road racing venues here in the States, the Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. 50 minutes of intense GT3 racing is coming at you live here on PitStopTV. JP Costa, we're back in the broadcast booth for some more GT3 action, and glad to be here with you and, of course, our colleague Trey Shuttlesworth for more NARL GT3 action after a very fun showing last time out at Hockenheim.
Yeah, at Hockenheim last week, it was an absolutely blast, and I'm just so excited to be back here at Road Atlanta, one of my favorite circuits on the service, one of my favorite circuits in real life. Last week we had an amazing race, battles for the lead, just battles on the timing sheets, and throughout the field we had amateurs and pro drivers battling, and obviously I got the highest privilege in talking in my native language to a fellow countryman, which was a first for me, at least on this job. So it was just an all-around amazing race to be able to commentate in. Well, we're back here for more on an even better circuit, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Thanks for all of you for joining us this evening on our Facebook, our YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter platforms this evening. Once again, we're happy to be here in the virtual Brazelton, Georgia, here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for round number 2 of 8 on the NARL season. And JP, we take a look at the track map. There's only one thing I can think of when we put sports cars here on the track here at Road Atlanta, and that's fun. There's so many unique features to this iconic American road racing venue. What more can you tell us about the challenge these drivers are going to endure tonight?
I mean, when you compare to last week's round at Hockenheim, we see a completely different circuit. Hockenheim, obviously, it had a lot of runoff areas, so drivers could take, I guess, more risks overtaking, allowing themselves to go over the edge. Right here is a completely different beast. We don't have any runoff areas. Drivers are, they are mandatory to be precise on each and every single corner. Turn 1, a fast-flowing right-hander, and then you have to line yourself for turn 2, and then the blind turn 3, 4 DSs, the deadly turn 5, and then just a small straight to turn 6, a 90-degree corner to turn 7, and then that absolutely massive straight where we're going to see most of the overtaking, in my opinion, throughout the race as they go down the hill into turns 10A and 10B, the sequence, and then obviously up and down the hill into turn 12 to do it all over again for 50 minutes. I mean, as you mentioned, it's just a roller coaster, a fun ride for these guys, but it's not going to be easy at all.
Absolutely, and what doesn't make it any easier is we take a look at the top of our standings, especially for the pro category. A tie at the top of the pro category. Of course, Jackson Resende getting the win last time out at the Hockenheim ring. Matthew Dench, though, had a great running there, puts himself in second. Fabio Zamperlini there in third. Scott Kimbrough fourth. Harry Wills fifth. Daniel Tenorio there in sixth. Aldo Secklin in seventh. Giuseppe Rivas in eighth. John Sedlak in ninth, and Ian Lake there, the top 10 in the pro category. But JP will also look at the amateur category, and the points gap, I guess, from first to 10th is pretty spread out, but I think from second through 10th, very, very competitive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the tallies, obviously, it's only one round of 8, but still, some gaps are already quite big. We see, obviously, a 16-point gap between Chad Klinger and Joshua Benjamin, but it's just the first round, so drivers need to keep their head up high, and anything can change. We talked about how difficult this track is, but, it's just going to be so exciting to see how much the championship standings are going to change, even in the pro and the amateur class after tonight, because, well, it's just going to be exciting to see all that mix-up that happens after 2 rounds, and then obviously 3, 4, 5, and it goes on. But I'm just so excited for tonight.
You mentioned rounds 3, 4, and 5, and I know you're very excited for when we head up, down to Brazil for, virtually of course, to Autodromo Jose Carlos Passa for Interlagos there. August 5th, that's going to be a fun round there, and then we'll travel across the Atlantic and up north to Germany for the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Most Sports, Azuka, Red Bull Ring, Donington Park to round out. But after Hockenheim start, Road Atlanta today, JP, this 8-race schedule, like we mentioned last week, scattered throughout the world, really putting the likes of like a world championship feel in only an 8-race calendar, but a lot of different racing venues that can really cater to one another's driving style.
Yeah, exactly. It's a perfect description. We do have a lot of different racing venues. We do have 3, 4, 5 F1 racing circuit, so we know they're the highest grade in the FIA standards, but we also have some, well, not high grade, but still challenging. Road Atlanta and Mosport come to mind. Obviously, Road Atlanta hosting Petit Le Mans, so it's a really high stakes track. And Mosport, a challenging track, you know, not something we usually see GT3 cars racing. We normally see other categories, but it's going to be so exciting to see. And as you mentioned, it feels like a world championship, a world tour for these guys. And well, I'm pretty sure most of them are going to be exciting. We do know that a lot of drivers are going to have home races, so some of them will be wanting to impress themselves and obviously their teams on those home races. But, you know, this calendar is just going to suit a lot of drivers and should put that championship even closer to some drivers on some weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely locations scattered throughout the schedule that drivers can look forward to as more of a home game, home race type of feel. But that's really what we have in store, of course, after last week at Hockenheim, and we really didn't know how that was going to play out. There was so much tragedy to play out there. I'm hoping for a similar race, a very competitive race throughout tonight here at Road Atlanta, and being that we're at Michelin Race with Road Atlanta, I expect nothing less. But we're going to step aside real quick. We're going to give our partners here at PitStopTV a chance to tell you a little bit more about themselves, and we'll be back with more pre-race coverage and into qualifying on the far side of this break.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome, race fans, back to Brazelton, Georgia's Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta, living here, of course, on the iRacing.com motorsport simulations service. We're here for round number 2 of 8 of the North American Racing League primary first season here on the sim, and it's been quite the time. A lot of hype came into the series, of course, with the prelude to the series, the Streamer Championship at Road Atlanta a couple weeks ago. We already have a little bit of a background for some of these drivers heading into today's race. Now, heading into today's race, of course, we have to shout out our partners here at PitStopTV who make things possible for us, like Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. Of course, our broadcasts are also brought to you by Race Pace Setups. There's that Discord link there at the bottom right of your screen. Pick up pace with Race Pace, a community-driven setup shop and driver development program. PitStopTV broadcast is also brought to you by Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine. You can go check them out at their website there at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. You deserve the best care that money can buy. our friends at BAM Racing Videos, by a race fan, for the racing community, and of course, Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of PitStopTV. Make sure you go to www.pitstoptv.com/whiplash for our iBroadcast cameras and camera packs there that you could use to spice up your own broadcast. And of course, we got to shout out our partners, or the series partners here at the North American Racing League, like those of Race Lab, which helps you to improve your driving skills with modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration. You can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at http://racelab.app. JS Consulting provides custom website and app development, including iRacing League website design and hosting. Find JS Consulting at johnsedlak.com. And of course, Tam Liveries, which we've already propped up here on the channel once before with the Northwest GT3 Series of Pacific GT3 Challenge. Tam Liveries here for the North American Racing League as well offers custom packages for some of the best livery designs in iRacing, used by pros and amateurs. You'll definitely look good on the racetrack. And of course, the Cars Esport Tour is back for is back, and entries are open to all Cars Tour competitors as well as other short track stars and iRacers. Cars Esport Tour races will be held on Wednesdays with practice opening at 6 p.m. Eastern. And again, you can get in on all the Cars Esport Tour action, especially if you're looking to join. Check out the website www.pitstoptv.com/Cars Esport Tour for more. That first race is right around the corner this upcoming Wednesday night at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. I cannot wait to see what happens when we put some of the best real-life short-track drivers in the nation and the world, and some of the best short-track drivers on iRacing head-to-head for a 6-race championship. That'll be a lot of fun there. But JP, we are now here at Michelin Raceway Red Atlanta. We're in the qualifying, and it's really time to get down to business. We see some of our drivers, most notably, working their way around the track. Let's see if we can catch up with Jackson Resende, who's working his way on his warm-up lap right now.
So obviously in qualifying, nerves are through the roof. Drivers obviously are going to be pushing the car to 110% in order to get extract the most time as possible from the track. And I'm pretty sure Jackson Resende is one of the few drivers that actually carried on the same car from last week. I'm pretty sure he was on the BMW as well. We see some other drivers that have changed, like Dench. Dench has changed well. Resende also already goes up top, but look at that gap. 0.03 of a second. That's pretty much the gap that we saw last week, and that's pretty much the gap that I'm expecting to see throughout the season between these two. And well, I mean, if that doesn't get you excited for the race, I'm not pretty sure what will.
Absolutely, and Jackson Resende, of course, working now on his second qualifying lap up the hill. Look at him catch some grass there on the inside of turn 5. Now, JP, I don't quite know what the qualifying scrutiny is, but I believe even if you put a tire off into grass like that, if iRacing detects that you are off track, that is an invalid lap time.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm pretty yeah. If you put 50% of the car over the detection zone, iRacing will consider that an off track, and obviously your time will be deleted. Your time won't count for anything. But that turn 5, you really do have to ride out that curb in some cars, especially on GT3s, to get the most time as possible. Obviously, some cars are more sensitive to that, but not the GT3 car. So Jackson Resende showed us how to extract the most time as possible, but we all know how deadly that corner can be. So if you just get that slightly bit wrong, it will essentially destroy your car, as you will be thrown out. And in danger, down right now, he responds, and look at that gap once again. 400s. Can Resende respawn within this lap? Yes, he can. Well, look at that. Just back-to-back battles for pole.
This is phenomenal stuff. Great stuff. The great battle we had last week already carrying over JP. Qualifying is one thing and race is another. But if we're trading times like this in qualifying, and look at the gap, by the way, just under 2/100ths of a second, 19 1,000ths. The gap right now between the top two in qualifying. Could this carry over to the race?
Well, if it does, I mean, we're bound to have a fantastic race. Doesn't matter who's in front. We will know that the guy behind, just has the exact same pace. So it could play dividend for strategy and obviously for pace. But I mean, that gap is just so exciting to see. And even if we look further back, I mean, 4th and 5th, Secklin and Trevor, within in the same tenth of a second. Look at 6 and 7, 1,000 of a second difference. So the grid is extremely close throughout the field, not only for pole.
Yeah, absolutely. Great racing all throughout the field, not only in, of course, the pro category, but the amateur category as well. In the amateur category right now headed by, trying to make sure I get this correct and credit the proper driver, Chad Klinger right now, the driver at the top of the amateur category. Instead of Campbell crosses the line, we'll see where he ends up there. But Chad Klinger, the highest running amateur driver right now in qualifying, and it is Resende holding station at the top of the charts. Yes, Resende is up there, and we continue on. Chad Klinger, the highest running amateur driver, down in 17th position. We saw last week, though, we had Joshua Benjamin up in the top 10, so this is very interesting to see the amateurs this far down the running order. Actually, it is 13th in category, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's interesting to see because obviously, as we mentioned, these tracks are completely different from one another. Road Atlanta, I feel like it's one of those tracks where you just have to build confidence, and as soon as you make a mistake on this track, you're going to probably end up in a wall, and that's going to hurt your confidence quite a bit. And the only way you can get that confidence back up and the pace is just by driving quickly and getting over, your mistake. But, just like that, and something that we also mentioned on the pre-race show, Klinger is 10th on the points on the amateur standings. And just like that, he finds himself on the provisional pole for his class. So it's just amazing to see how quickly, the balance can swing from one track to the other. Obviously, Blake Scott is in second place on the standing, and he is second place at least for now in qualifying, so consistency at least from that point. But it's just so interesting to see how the momentum swings from track to track as drivers do get accustomed to, and obviously sometimes just the track just favors the driving style.
Absolutely. Carrying on here, Alonso will cross the line. Does he improve on that lap? He actually does go up to 23rd quickest overall there. There's Alonso crossing the line, and he'll come to stop here after the start finish. Looking around here, trying to see Bruno Alcaraz is off in the grass. I assume he's already finished his qualifying attempt. He's actually on his 5th lap, so he has completed his qualifying attempt. So qualifying basically at a close as is, because everybody set times very early, and there's no other drivers out on track actively trying to compete for a qualifying time.
Yeah, looks like some of these guys are just going to get some extra track time. Obviously, on a track like this, it's just as important, you can get accustomed to your car, see how it reacts, you can just take extra risks because your time is already over in qualifying, so this is just free mileage for you in your car. And, well, some of these guys will take that, for free. Obviously, it's just, again, extra track time, free practice, and could help out in the race, you never know.
Absolutely. So while we have this quick break, we're going to step aside one more time, and we're going to see here how everything unfolds for the race coverage here of the NARL round number 2 of 8 here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. And JP, we're here and getting ready to get going here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. It's I think we're getting ready to go green here. Let's see. No, we have a pace lap. My apologies there. I was a little confused there because I thought we were getting ready to go off the grid. I'm like, oh, I was not expecting that. But we are we're okay now, JP. Let's go ahead and roll through our starting lineup, shall we, and see where everybody is heading into this race. Row number 1, we're gonna have, of course, last week's winner out there, Jackson Resende, on the front row. He'll be alongside Matthew Dench there in second position. Row number 2, we're going to find Fabio Zamperlini in the 237 and Aldo Secklin in the 266. Row number 3, it'll be Harry Wills and Scott Rister. Row number 4, it'll be Daniel Tenorio and Alex Treber. And in row number 5, it'll be Giuseppe Rivas and Micah Barnett.
In row number 6, we do have Shane Kaiko in the 243 and Tyler Campbell in the 233. In row number 7, we do have John Sadlak on the 203 and the 202 of EJ Nixon on the 14th place. On row number 8, we do have Greg Fullwood and alongside him Bruno Alcaraz on the 16th place. Row number 9, we do have Chad Klinger in the 109 and the 167 of Blake Scott in 18th place. And finally, on row number 10, we do have Ian Lake on the 222 and William Coffey second on the 157.
We find our way back to row number 11. It'll be Josue Manriquez in 21st and Armando Bejaron there in 22nd. Back to row number 12. It'll be JP Alfonso and Tyler Graff. Row number 13. It'll be Stu Leslie and Federico Tamayo. And in row number 14, it'll be Philip Rainier and Sean Patterson. Back to row number 15, it'll be Joshua Benjamin and Mark Scott. And in row number 16, Mike Braun, Clarence Rosa, and at the back of the grid, it'll be the 184 of WFR Mayo Jr. So 33 drivers ready to do battle here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. We're working our way through the long back straightaway now. Let's take a look at the weather coming into today's event. And how about it? It is 71 degrees, the track temp, 68 degrees, the air temperature. A fairly cool racetrack for these drivers tonight. Winds 6 miles per hour out of the northwest and fluctuating. We are getting ready to get to racing action here. It is Jackson Resende on the front row. Matthew Dench alongside VIRacing.com safety car is into the safety pit lane, and we are green from Road Atlanta. A fairly clean start for everybody. One driver elected to start from the pit lane. That was driver of the number 101, Clarence Rosa. But we continue on. It's Jackson Resende at the front of the field. Of course, the Brazilian in the BMW. Trying to head right now. Matthew Dench, who's in the Mercedes GT3 machine. So a couple of German racing machines at the front of the field.
Well, just how amazing it is to see 34 cars going around Road Atlanta, and each and every single one of them clearing out turns 1, 2, and 3. It's just amazing to see each and every single driver respecting the limits of the car, respecting the limits of the track, and respecting the fellow competitors. But look at that, we do have battles all throughout the field, but I mean, Dench is already putting pressure, trying to put pressure on Resende to try and get that lead early on in the race. It's so important that Mercedes is trying to push that BMW further as they head into turns number 1. But well, Resende, luckily for him, his teammate is on 3rd place, and he'll definitely want that teammate to, as quickly as possible, get on the back of Dench and start applying pressure, because by the looks of it, looks like Dench may have the pace on the initial phase of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Dench looks like he has the upper hand at the moment. Trying to see what kind of advantage you can get on Jackson Resende as they work their way down here to turns number 5 and turns 6 and 7. Double right-handers here on the far side, of course. Very, very difficult corners, especially this corner here, turn 7, very tight as you work your way onto the straightaway there. The curbing helps a little bit, but you really got to have that car planted in the right direction coming through that corner. Now, massive slipstream here to the 283 of Matthew Dench, basically pushing Resende down the straightaway. Does he send it here into the chicane? He peaks, but he does not send it. He will play the waiting game once again. They work their way through 10A and 10B.
And by not sending it, he allowed Zamperlini to kind of close the gap just a tiny bit to him, less than half a second between those two. But interesting for Resende, not actually going defensive on the first lap, on the first and second lap. Quite interesting, as Zamperlini now looks like everybody's going fastest. Even Wills has gone fast, only 2.4 seconds behind the leaders, but looks like we do have a 3-car battle for the lead now. It's going to be interesting to see how the teammates can work together, both Sam Sweat, Kanani cars right here on P1 and P3, obviously. So, you know, team play could play a big factor like it did last week at Hockenheim, and well, it could be a winning move again in Road Atlanta.
And again, I know that this is, of course, one of the better group of road racing drivers here on the iRacing Sim. Some amazing drivers in this field. The caliber of driver is very high, but we've had a very clean showing the first 2 laps. I commend the field on that, because this is a difficult racetrack, especially the initial start of the race, working through the Titan Technical S's to make it through in one piece for the whole field. That is quite the feat. We're going to work our way back here to the battle for the amateur race lead, and this is Blake Scott heading Chad Klinger now. They're going to be slipstreaming into the chicane down here. Nearly 3 wide up ahead of him, though, here in the pro category. That is the 271 of Giuseppe Rivas. Oh, contact! Rivas, I'm sorry, Shane Kaiko gets sideways. He'll hold on to that machine, but wow, this midfield is something else as Scott Rister goes fastest.
That's normally what happens when you go side by side through a few corners. You kind of do open the door for some other drivers to kind of get lucky, and well, we saw a bit of contact, but luckily that BMW somehow still pointing in the right direction and already applying pressure. But I mean, racing is just as clean as it was on lap number 1, and just as clean as it was last week. So I mean, we do have 33 cars on track, so it's gonna be hectic, it's gonna be crazy, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be clean throughout the race.
How about this battle for the 11th position? This is towards the rear end of the pro category, but I could not help but see with how tight the margin was when we were working our way through the S's. Sedlak was all over the rear end here of Giuseppe Rivas, working off of turn number 7 now down the back straightaway. A very tight margin now. Rivas will open up the margin on corner exit, but it looks like Sedlak can really attack those corners, and it looks like Resende has lost the race lead. I'd imagine he was overtaken here into the chicane. It is Matthew Dench, the race leader. Now he's got the teammates now lined up nose to tail, and they can try to orchestrate an attack to get right back to that race lead. Resende now, I'd imagine if he's not in too much of a hurry, he can take this time to kind of study Matthew Dench.
not only study, but he can also use his teammate as a rear gunner, at least for the time being, to save fuel for both cars and hopefully jump them on the pit stop, something that we saw last week. We're going to take a look at the replay to see how the move essentially just came together. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not able to get it. But, you know, just as we mentioned, if these two guys, if these two teammates can work together, they can accomplish something just like we saw last week. They have a massive opportunity on the back straight, sorry, to essentially save fuel. And we're going to take a look at the replay, and it's just what we thought, you know, the slipstream, just allowing the car ahead of you, just punch the air and just diving on the inside late as possible. I'm not pretty sure if Resende is going defensive this early in the race. Looks like he's not. He sticks to the racing line and just allows Dench to go down the inside. It's not fighting too hard. You can see he even brakes a little bit earlier to get the car clear and take the racing line. So looks like Resende is comfortable enough to not have track position, at least for the time being.
I think that does show a lot of confidence that he's saying, hey, you're very fast right now, but I know I'm going to keep myself in the game. If I can just ride behind you, maybe even learn if Dench is truly faster. He can learn a little bit from Dench and see if there's any sort of advantage they can pick up. But look with how close they were in qualifying. I don't know if there is that much of an advantage. Harry Wills goes fastest in that 4th position. He's catching up. He's putting himself into the mix.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. At the end of lap 1 and 2, he was 2.4 seconds back. He's already 1.3, 1.2 at this point, looks like. So he's catching up. He's allowing these guys to reel him in, essentially. Those battles definitely allowed him to close the gap, but, well, posting the fastest lap while those guys ahead of them have clear air just shows that, well, he's not here just, you know, just to look at a battle. He's here to actually get on the fight and probably get on the podium. Now, Zamperlini obviously has to keep an eye out on his rear view mirror to essentially keep that Mercedes on the back bumper, essentially, because he needs to help out his teammate, but obviously he wants that podium finish once again.
Absolutely. And Harry Wills, you know, with the help of the slipstream here down the long back straightaway, could really play a factor here as we get tight down here into the chicane. Looks like Zamperlini has lost a little bit of touch there to Resende, but because the car selection is open, but because the setups are fixed, oh my goodness, it is tight back here between Alex Treber, Aldo Secklin, Scott Rister, Daniel Tenorio, and Tyler Campbell, and Micah Barnett. My goodness, this pack back here for the 5th position. Matthew Dench goes fastest in the race lead. But what I was saying here is because the setups are fixed, if a car just suits your driving style with the same setup, it can really this could really play into somebody's favor as opposed to maybe running the same car all season long. And maybe Harry Wills is using that to his advantage tonight in his McLaren. I'm sorry. Not McLaren. He was in the Mercedes.
Always, we do have a spinner on the exit of turn 5, so that massive train, unfortunately,
oh my goodness!
A massive crash. That was the spinner I was talking about, and looks like he was just stuck on the exit apex, essentially. And unfortunately for him, looks like he got massively T-boned on the exit of turn 5.
Oh my goodness. We're gonna take a look at a replay here, and we'll get a chance to catch our breath. That was something else. So this is Tyler Campbell in the number 233 Porsche. He's right there, right on the rear end of the Friday. I believe that is Tenorio in the 291. They worked their way through the S's. Oh, looks like everybody. Is Campbell? Oh, I think he pushed a little hard to 5. Had to check up big time. Got sideways through the corner, clipped the exit curve, and oh my goodness, there's nowhere for the field to go. Up in the air, big time air for Tyler Campbell.
Yeah, absolutely nowhere to go. I'm not pretty sure what was the right move, maybe just dashing forward, but obviously at that point, you know, it's a blind just going up the hill, and oh, it's just so unfortunate to see that, you know, obviously 2 cars essentially tangling up. And we're going to take a look at the onboard here. As you can see, just up ahead of him, the Mercedes is going to lose a bit of grip as they head into the downhill. As you can see, there just snaps a bit, and that's going to allow everybody to kind of close together and check up. And, well, he just goes, looks like, on the marbles and just loses the car by himself, and then he just stops. And, well, at that point, oh, he tried to engage reverse gear, but unfortunately not quite quick enough.
My goodness, he put it in reverse. He couldn't get the throttle down in time to get out of the way, but at the same time, I mean, there's a pack of cars coming to you. I don't know what else he could have done. Just very, very rough timing and a wild ride for Tyler Campbell. Now, there is faster pairs for this series, so he should be okay to rejoin the race, but because he had to tow, his competitive night is relatively over. As Harry Wills, my goodness, goes landscaping out of the final corner.
Yeah, exactly. He's definitely pushing the limits to keep up with Zamperlini at this moment in time. He's keeping up with touch. Zamperlini losing a bit of touch to Resende, and Resende keeping himself within that 0.7 of a second. You know, not quite as close as we saw Dench on the first few laps. So definitely interesting if he can keep. Obviously, he cannot lose touch. I mean, he cannot afford to lose touch. At least looks like for the time being. But if as long as he keeps himself within a second, I'm pretty sure he's gonna have the slipstream effect. So that can help him essentially get a few tenths of a second back on the back straight, but these guys I'm pretty sure are gonna go at it because Zamperlini losing that touch to his teammate, and Will's definitely in contention to try and challenge for that podium.
Absolutely, trying to keep himself in contention here and keeping himself in the slipstream with Zamperlini. And oh, we got another vehicle stopped on the racetrack. That is Chad Klinger off in turn 5 once again. Calamity corner there at the bottom of the S is turn 5. Chad Klinger, the next victim.
Oh, and that's big damage. He has damage on the front splitter, but you can see the car was already missing the back part of the glass that covers up the engine.
No, and another spin.
Oh, so it looks like, yeah, it looks like that suspension might just be gone for Chad. Unfortunately, he has to tow, so a big incident. Unfortunately for him, he was on pole for his class, and well, that's just how quickly the race can essentially go down the drain in Rhode Atlanta. It's just a non-forgiving racetrack. We're going to take a look at the replay, and that's going to be turn 5 again. That's probably going to strike a back on some drivers, as you can see, just going down the hill up to the S's, and then as soon as he gets turn 5, oh, he loses a bit of it on the entry. Does he get collected? Yes, he does. So, oh, that's how the suspension essentially got killed there, and that caused a later on spin.
So once again, Chad Klinger, he was doing relatively well for himself. Remember, he qualified in the front of the amateur category, so he was doing really well in his particular category, but some trouble there down the bottom of the S's for Chad Klinger. And if you know iRacing's damage model, you know how detrimental it is if you get hit in that in the rear tire. That is pretty much game over for your car. We'll ride now in car here with Chad Klinger. But I know, JP, if you've competed in any sort of sports car race on iRacing with the updated I guess physics to damaging, those rear tires are very sensitive when they get contacted by another vehicle.
Yeah, exactly, and that's, as you can see, just how quickly everything happened. And at that point in time, you know, he probably already got the meatball flag, you know, the required repairs flag. But, you know, just trying to get to the pits is essential because you're not going to lose that much time with the tow. But unfortunately, just couldn't really get back to the pit lane. That rear quarter panel essentially was destroyed within the suspension. But as you mentioned, if he has the quick repairs, that could be lucky for him. But look at this!
Oh!
The leader got caught up in traffic, and that just allowed Resende to close the gap. And they're going to be going side by side into turn 6. Looks like he's going to think better of it. So last week, a back marker caused Resende to lose touch with the leader, but this week it allowed everybody to catch up with Dench after he put in a massive show to try to increase that gap. And look at it, everything is gone.
Look at what's happened to the top 4. All 4 of them are now nose to tail down the biggest slipstream portion on the racetrack. This could get very interesting. It is Matthew Dench still out in front here, but wow. That was something. That was, I believe, WF Armero going around right in front of the race leaders, and that was very scary.
Yeah, that's the worst part of the circuit, to catch traffic. Obviously, it's a small circuit, only 4 kilometers. We see that in Petit Le Mans. As soon as you get within the SS, you essentially cannot pass, you know. Doesn't matter how quick your car is, there's just no space whatsoever to pass. And unfortunately, Dench just caught the traffic on the worst possible place. And, well, a pro driver, obviously running in the lead, is going to have quite a bit more pace than, you know, some of the amateur drivers. And obviously, within this section, it's just all about confidence, and that's going to pay out. And unfortunately, it kind of hurt Dench, definitely hurt the McLaren driver, but hopefully they can all bounce back. But looks like it did not phase Dench whatsoever. He's already increasing the gap, and the battle still rages on within the race. I mean, look at his car trying to close the gap up, and that McLaren's gone.
Aldo Secklin, and that's turn 5 again. Looks like he'll be able to continue with no damage. Very lucky with no damage, but he caught some of the exit curbing in turn 5. Aldo Secklin did. and he went for a ride.
Yeah, exactly. Something that we need to point out to the viewers that these cars are running stock iRacing setups. So suspensions are not exactly tweaked to handle some of these curbs sometimes. We all know how, professional setups and paid setups do handle the curbs around here. Obviously, iRacing setups sometimes don't get the job quite done. And as you can see, he kind of loses a bit on the exit, and that's a twitch, the McLaren twitch, essentially, just so hard to catch. But for him, it might just be lucky enough to not tap that wall too hard, and he may just get away with it with no damage.
There is a little bit of damage there, and I know in sports cars it's a little bit different, but I'd imagine the aerodynamics of his car will definitely take a beating, especially with the straightaway, the very next portion of the racetrack he had to tackle. Otto Secklin, though, holds on to his McLaren there in the 7th position. After a wild ride, lose one spot, but he does not lose the car.
And that's the most important part. He only lost a few positions, only one essentially, only one position. So, I mean, when you look at the other outcomes that we saw, 2 toes back to the pit lane and taking those fast repairs, it's the best case scenario. So, I mean, obviously not ideal, but what could have been, it could have been much, much worse.
How about last week's amateur winner there? Oh my goodness, Joshua Benjamin. That front end is gone. There's no hood on that Lamborghini. Oh my goodness, somebody off in the tire barrier over there. Actually, they don't hit the tire barrier, but the rejoin into the middle of the pack.
Turn 5 looks like it caught up another victim. I'm interested to see what happened to the Lamborghini, but drivers are still going side by side. That rejoin was quite a bit tricky. It looks like he was rejoining already, defending for position. So interesting move. Obviously probably illegal, but I mean, look at this train. That's why I love Road America. This train, everybody's going to be following one another. Moves are going to be made. Look at that Porsche weaving inside, outside. Where is it going to go? Where is the Ferrari going to go? Looks like the Porsche is going to be forced to go around the outside. Can he get the move done? Tamayo on the Ferrari going defensive. The Porsche is going to go on the long way around the outside, and he gets the move done.
Oh, but the crossover! Woo, side by side coming down the hill through 11 and now 12. Getting on the curbing is the Ferrari contact. The Porsche's in the grass, 3 wide down the straightaway. Here comes the Mercedes. What a move from Tyler Graff.
What a move, just so opportunistic. And
Oh
he
no!
gets 2 spinners. Unfortunately coming together down into turn 1. Watch out, boys. Mark Scott unfortunately came out worse after battling and going side by side through the chicane. Unfortunately, Philip Ranieri also gets caught up in that incident, but what a battle.
We've got a lot to unpack here. We're going to take this replay all the way back to the chicane. That was something else. Trying to see here. Yeah, this is onto the straightaway here. We'll ride on board. Let's take a pic. We'll ride on board with Graff first, because that was amazing. The move that Tyler Graff made to get through this field. Right on board here. And you kind of see the overtake going on right up ahead of him. This is Joshua Benjamin, the Lamborghini directly in front. The side-by-side battle up ahead that we saw live. The Ferrari of gets the undercut there, or sorry, the crossover down the hill. Now they go side-by-side. And look at Tyler Graff, massive slipstream, and looking to make 3 spots in one go.
Wow, that just worked out to perfection. The Lamborghini went perfectly on the inside, and that just opened up the massive gap that he had. And well, that's how you get the job done. Perfect race awareness, and then obviously the small contact between Philip and the Porsche. But I mean, it's just something that we're used to seeing. That's, I guess, what everybody loves Road Atlanta, is just those opportunities for moves. We saw the amazing battle that Tamayo had with the Porsche, and then, well, look at how it ended up. And I mean, this is why we love Road America. This is why we love road racing.
Absolutely. Once again, there's the overtake on the front of your screen. We're trying to get it focused there, but we'll get a blimp here. We're trying to see all of this unfold. And right there's the crossover from the 112 Ferrari of Frederick De Mayo to the inside. A little bit of greenery there covering the view, but here comes Tyler Graff just flying right through this, like right through the middle. Tyler Graff goes. That is insane. And here we go into turn 1. Oh man, just they meet in the middle of the corner. Really not either driver's fault.
Yeah, exactly. Just a racing incident in my point of view. It's just so difficult to judge. Obviously in turn 1, I guess we could go the same way as saying it was similar to Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton at the British Grand Prix. You know, it just could go on within one another, but at the end of the day, it might just be a racing instant. But looks like we do have a few of the leaders already coming down into pit lane. Looks like the undercut, Fabio Zamperlini going for the undercut. This could be interesting if he comes out on clear air. If he comes out on traffic, this could really, really hurt him on the long run.
Yeah, you got to think right now, where is he going to come out? And even if he's in traffic, you got to also think, is he with damaged cars? Is he with clean cars? Of how crazy this race has been. Zamperlini will come out behind Stu Leslie, but ahead of a couple of the spinners in that turn 1 melee. So he'll rejoin in the 21st position. He's got about 2.5 seconds of the car up ahead of him. But then he's got a 3-car train here with Tamayo, Alonso, and Leslie.
I was gonna say he got quite a good pocket of air ahead of him, but this 3-car battle, if they go side by side as they are on turn 6, ooh, yes. Well, that's gonna lose them time, and that's gonna allow Zamperlini to catch it. I mean, look how quickly he's catching them up. So not gonna be quite ideal having to navigate 4 cars while your teammate, you know, probably needs your help a bit on the front. We're not really sure how the team orders or team games are playing around here, but we do know that obviously having your teammate close by and acting as a rear gunner, as we do have a spin on, looks like the S's. So, oh, the McLaren strikes once again, and he does does really well to avoid rejoining the racetrack, but I mean, that McLaren is just struggling to keep on the racetrack.
Yeah, that McLaren now heavily damaged there, and we'll get a replay of the unfortunate event that happened there to Otto Secklin, and this one might require the fast repair if he still has it, hopefully.
Yeah, that was quite a big chunk to the concrete wall, and well, we know how big the damage can be, but as you can see, just manages the curb on turn 3 really well, and oh, looks like he just got on the curb on turn 4. Now, does he back up? Yeah, that was quite a big hit, unfortunately for him, and he does well to stop, now rejoin the track, waits for 3 cars, and then quickly rejoins once again. But looks like that was just on the curb on turn 4 that caused that McLaren to spin, so it's just so unpredictable sometimes, and unfortunately for him, he got quite unlucky.
We're going to rejoin this battle right here, and this is Harry Wills in the 3rd position, under attack from the Texan, Alex Treber in the Mercedes. I think this is Mercedes on Mercedes action right here. It is, through VS's, Treber trying to find his way onto the podium, and of course this is not factoring in Zamperlini, where he strikes, where he comes out, where he cycles out through his pit stop. But this battle for the 3rd position is really heating up.
Yeah, really, really hitting up. Willis, unfortunately, looks like he's losing a bit of pace. He was on paces at one point in time with Dench and Resende, but it looks like right now he's going to have to switch from attack mode to defend mode. And Trevor, well, he's looking really racy. They're on the same car, same setup, so he's going to be benefiting a lot from the slipstream. Wills tries to go defensive. Trevor, oh, on the last possible second, goes on the outside, and looks like he's going to have a car clear even before the braking zone, but Willis is not going to give that up so easily. Can they go side by side? Yes, they will. Can they both come out cleanly? Yes, they will once again.
Fantastic racing now onto the far side of the course and onto the front straightaway. Trevor on the right side just gets the 3rd at the scoring loop at the start finish, but still side by side in 1. Neither one of these drivers giving up. Looks like Trevor will clear to 3rd position, but what a battle that was, side by side, down the straightaway, through the chicane, through the right-handers, onto the front straight, and into turn 1 before Trevor finally got cleared of Harry Wills.
Did a perfect job to kind of just squeeze Wills up tiny bit too wide on the exit of turn number 12, but you know, just perfectly clean move, and unfortunately Wills had to yield at that point in time. But well, roles are reversed right now. They're gonna exit turn 7 in a couple of seconds, and well, we're gonna see it happen all over again. Looks like Wills unfortunately lost a bit of the apex, didn't quite hit the apex correctly, so he's gonna lose a bit of time. But you know, in a few laps time, if he can close the gap, it's gonna be roles reversed. So I mean, we could be seeing another move happen soon, but look at these two. I mean, within a second throughout the race, Dench just pulled out 6/10, 7/10 of a second, but inseparable.
Well, here we go. We have just crossed into the second half of this race. That would have been a prime opportunity to split this race in half, but neither of these drivers will take that opportunity. Dench actually sets his fastest lap, and I see why they're staying out now. If they're setting their fastest laps, both of them set their fastest laps that last lap around. I'd imagine because the fuel cells are very light, but still, later into the run proves to maybe even be better for these drivers.
Yeah, exactly. The cars are getting really, really light at this point in time. Obviously, Resende kind of using that slipstream to help him get his personal best lap time, as we do have a Ferrari, looks like Josue Manriquez. Oh, that's on turn 10. That's on the uphill section, so a big crash may have happened there. Maybe just clip the grass on the entry to the corner, but, well, we're going to have all that cleared up on the replay.
Yeah, big hit here for Jose Manriquez and into the chicane, and yep, that's exactly what happened. Big hit, oh man.
Oh, and that's just the tiniest of margins. You saw just how, unfortunately, one wheel dipped on the grass under braking under load, and well, that's just how quickly the car can snap. And at that point in time, you're just a passenger, hoping that the car won't hit the concrete barrier. But unfortunately for Josue, didn't quite go his way. But well, he's close to the pit lane, so he can get that quick repair, get the car filled up, and hopefully back on track soon.
So as you mentioned, a gap 0.6 of a second, JP, between Matthew Dench and last week's winner Jackson Resende. Again, they come in tied to the championship, and we saw Matthew Dench, he led into pit stops, so Resende led out of pit stops. So is this what, I mean, obviously we're going to wait for pit stops, but is this potentially what we're shaping up to see again?
It could definitely be. You know, Resende, we saw early on in the race, he did not defend the lead. He did not defend the position. He just backed off and allowed Dench to get the lead, punch the air, and that could help out. You know, it's a 15-minute race, it's a short race, but every single liter of fuel that is saved will help him on the pit stop. He just has to nail the entry, the stop itself, and the exit, and well, he might just jump that 0.8 of a second gap that he has right now.
Very busy pit lane. Literally, I think the rest of the top 10 was into the pit lane besides the top 4. So we're watching Dench and Resende. I'd imagine if they don't come in this lap, it'll be next because of when everybody else is pitted in. They're both coming in now. Wow, that was cutting it close on pit entry for Dench. The aggressive pit entry. They both make it in, but did they make it in at pit speed?
Well, that's going to be the question. Even if they do, now we're going to see if, well, we're going to see if Resende saved any fuel, and if he saved, how much. Was it enough to jump? As we do have another battle, looks like Trevor and Wills also on the pit lane. So we do have a battle for first and a battle for third on the pit lane. And looks like Resende may just overshot his pit lane, but I mean, this is going to be close on the exit.
So what Resende, his advantage is here is he can just go straight out without having to worry about pit speed. Dench might have to worry about pit speed when they leave, and it's Resende out in front. Wow, even if he did slip through the pit box, it was so minute, it didn't even matter. It was so close though. But Resende with the qualifying pole position, I think ultimately winning him that race off of pit lane.
Yeah, it could have helped the last pit, essentially the last pit stall can always help on the exit, and that's something that we see time and time again. As he takes quite an interesting line through turn 5, definitely not the ideal line, but now he's going to have to go defensive. We saw how quickly the Mercedes is on the back straight, and while the BMW might just be struggling a little bit on the pit exit lap, on essentially the out lap at this point in time, so the Mercedes is extremely close, and well, looks like Dench might just have a bit easier than what we thought. He's on the slipstream. Is he gonna go for a move on the inside or outside? Is Resende gonna? Oh, look at this! Look at the difference between lap 1 and the last 20 minutes of the race. Resende goes defensive. Is he gonna outbrake Dench? Is Dench gonna outbrake him? They're gonna go side by side through turn 10, but Resende keep his car up ahead, and well, he's gonna lead these lapalis.
Wow, the battle will not go away, and they are. I mean, remember the gap in qualifying. Two 100ths, 19 1,000ths of a second was the gap in qualifying. And we're seeing that translate to the race. I asked you if that was going to translate to the race. We have seen a battle from the green flag, from the end of practice to now. We've seen these two battle. It's been phenomenal.
It's been, I mean, it's just been perfect. Resende just took his time, and now Dench might just take his time. He knows that he probably has the advantage coming into the final few laps, so it's going to be a question. How do you attack now? Do you just wait until the final few laps and just try for the move, and then just try to, you know, everything going around the outside of turn 10? Or do you just already go for it and hope that you can defend and just take a track position for the time being? So Resende obviously has to defend. He has absolutely no choice at this point. Dench holds now the choice, and he can just kind of just provoke Resende, you know, just kind of, I guess, just poke him lap after lap, trying to go for a move, and then just all of a sudden just strike for it.
It is a Brazilian leading over, well, it says Australia and New Zealand, so I can't, I guess, completely clarify which he is, but an Oceanic driver versus a Brazilian going at it here for the race lead with 19 minutes left at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Resende opens up now a half-second margin. I want to give a proper shout out to Blake Scott, who is leading the amateur category and into the top 10.
He's doing a fantastic job. The next amateur car is on 17th place. 17th. 7th place behind him. So
the entire straightaway
is doing fantastic. Yeah, he has an entire straightaway of an advantage, so he's just doing fantastic. He's just running his own race. He has clean track ahead of him and behind him, so he's not really under pressure, and a top 10 is just fantastic. But look at this battle we have right here. Two cars going side by side on the final corner. Looks like they have to yield, well, just everywhere on the racetrack. We do have battles for position.
Once again, this midfield is really shaping up to be a fantastic battle. This is Giuseppe Rivas, John Sedlak, and Daniel Tenorio going at it here. These three working their way through the S's. This is 12th, 13th, and 14th positions, respectively. A battle for the lead. Here we go.
Dench looked on the inside, thought better of it, so I mean, I'm not really sure what he's thinking at this point. Is he trying to go for a move? Is he trying to just get on Resende's head, you know, just... I guess just saying, you know, without saying anything, look, I'm here and I'm gonna go for a move eventually, so keep your eye open for me. So I mean, just look at how much that Mercedes is gaining on just a small straightaway. So I mean, I'm pretty sure he just has the horsepower, he just has a straight line speed on that Mercedes car, and unfortunately Resende looks like he's gonna catch up traffic on the worst part of the circuit. So this could come in handy for Dench if he can line up move properly on the exit of turn 5.
Absolutely. Look at all this lap traffic. I think lap traffic, which driver can get through lap traffic the best is going to win this race. There's just so much of it, and there's not that many overtaking opportunities. And of course, there's the clear one on the straightaway, but it's not like we're prototypes against, you know, GT3 cars. This is GT3 on GT3 action. These drivers, they will hold their own on the straightaway.
Yeah, exactly. These guys will have to respect the blue flags. I'm pretty sure Resende will be flashing a few of those lights to allow him, but that's not something that you want to see when you're the leader. You want to see two back markers going side by side on the chicane when you're defending for your position. That's definitely the last thing you want to see, because if these two come together, you know, the first car that's going to be on the scene is going to be you, and you definitely don't want that. Luckily for him, they cleared out before he gets to the chicane, but oh, look at it. Is he going to get held up? He does. It looks like he takes out Capone, and he goes round as well.
Oh my goodness. And I said lap traffic and the drivers that can get through lap traffic the best was going to win or lose this race, but this was not what I intended whatsoever when I said that. Oh man, that is very that's race ending there for Resende, because even if he can come back around and grab that faster pair, his competitive night is over. We're gonna take a replay to get, I guess, the entire situation in perspective here before we get all opinions out on it. But JP, just Resende catching traffic, it's so tough. The speed difference, and he was trying to get out of the way, just did it too early.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's heartbreaking obviously seeing a driver crashing out the lead, but it looks like it was just one instant following up one another. We saw, you know, he tangling up with the back marker, but looks like as soon as he got that car recovered, looks like Dench just gave him a small nudge on the back bumper essentially, and that just eventually led up to the crash. We're gonna see an onboard of him, and you're just gonna see. So he comes out. Obviously, he gets a better exit as here. It looks like the back marker starts to just lift off during the corner. So that's definitely not where you want to lift off. That's definitely not what you want. Oh, and as you can see, he gets the car under control, but looks like Dench just kisses him on the back bumper. But that Porsche behind him, just so lucky also to not get tangled up in that instant. So, I mean, two separate incidents that happen essentially at the same, within the same second.
Now, I'm going to take another replay of it, and I feel this is definitely worthy because this is, of course, the battle for the lead. I want to see what Matthew Dench saw and, you know what kind of a time, if he had any time, to try to miss Resende, or what happened to Resende ultimately. I think there was contact between these two, but we'll see here. And if Dench does have damage, I mean, there's just not really room. He had so much speed. But there's damage to Dench's car now. Now he has an 8-second lead, but that could be huge.
Yeah, if the damage is substantial, obviously we only have 14 minutes left, so the damage has to be quite substantial for him to lose the lead at this point in time. But yeah, just an unfortunate cascade of events. We saw Resende checking up, we saw the brake lights, and unfortunately Dench looks like at that point in time is just committed to go around the outside, trying to essentially get the place back, as he does have a back marker, looks like spinning ahead of him, and Resende does rejoin the racetrack in 21st place. That's Tyler Campbell, who spun out on the exit of turn 1, but Resende does come back within the top 20, nearly the top 20, but within the same lead line.
Let's check in on our astronaut of the night, Tyler Campbell, who went to the moon earlier today in this race, not having a good night. Again, the leader was hounding his rear end here. Actually, not even. The leader was a car behind. But into turn 1, a little too much rear brake, or a little too much speed into the entry of the corner.
Yeah, that car was already was loose already on entry by the looks of it. So unfortunately, he was just trying to catch up the car at that moment in time, and unfortunately, not enough road, I'd say, and just a bit too much lack of grip at that point in time. So unfortunately for Tyler, definitely not his night tonight. But yeah, Dench still on the lead, 8.2 seconds in. Well, he finds himself on a similar situation we saw a few laps ago, a back mark on the final corner. That's definitely not ideal, but looks like at this time, in this lap, looks like he gets it all cleared.
As Dench will send it up the inside on a lapped vehicle there. That is 21st place driver Giuseppe Rivas, who just went a lap down. We've seen Rivas put a lot of heart and soul into midfield battles earlier. He has since lost touch a little bit, just outside the top 20, but hanging in there. About hanging in there, our astronaut-in-chief Tyler Campbell has decided to call it a night. Along with him calling it a night tonight, Aldo Secklin, Sean Patterson, Greg Fullwood, all out of the race.
So unfortunately, a few drivers have been victims of incidents, and that just proves, you know, something that we talked about pre-race, just how difficult this track is, as we do have, looks like Trevor is already fighting for position once again. Oh, that is quite an aggressive block, essentially, for position. I'm not pretty sure if that's for position. Looks like that's with a back marker.
This is for position. This is Wills trying to fend off Alex Trevor here, side by side down the straightaway, and this is Trevor going into the second position. Just think, if Matthew Dench got any more damage, this could be the battle for the win, and this race certainly isn't over. But the side by side and the importance of this battle has jumped up another notch. This is now Wills getting back out in front of Trevor. That was brilliant. He was getting overtaken on the straightaway, but Harry Wills is able to drive it deeper into the chicane and kind of get the run off the turn 10B and keep himself out in front of Alex Trevor. Trevor will have to try to find another way around.
Well, he's just going to have to be patient and wait once again for the same opportunity on the back straightaway. He just has to get a good exit out of turn 7. And well, after that, it's pretty much just job done. But he has to keep it close. Obviously, they're on the same car, running the same setup, probably the same amount of fuel load. So it's just a question of, you know, pulling yourself back together.
No.
Looks like Shane Keiko with a massive hit on the front end of the BMW. So definitely not ideal. So a knockdown victim falling for Road Atlanta. So this track is just proving why is it so difficult to run, and well, just proving why it's such a big challenge.
Shane Keiko, big damage, I'd imagine. Oh, he's been driving with it for a little bit, so I don't really know what the case is here. Maybe just Kaiko. I don't know, but this is live. He's since rejoined the racetrack. He's ninth with that badly beaten up car. That is crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, with that beat up car and with Resende's incident, look at who's in 8th place. Blake Scott running in 8th place as an amateur driver. I mean, that's just a drive. We saw last week with Joshua Benjamin. We're seeing this week with Blake Scott. So some amateur drivers just shining up to the occasion. And I mean, we just got to take the head out. We got to tip the head to these guys because that's just a performance.
An absolutely phenomenal performance from Blake Scott, who currently leads the amateur category by a large margin. Spun around is one of our series partners here, John Sedlak, trying to rejoin the track. Very bad spot. That's a curbing that a lot of drivers use. He will rejoin the track safely, but I was questioning the move to get back to the curbing that is very used up there on the exit of turn 5. We'll get a replay here and see what happened to John Sedlak.
Yeah, luckily for him, that was not essentially on the exit curb, unless you run a bit too wide, that could be your exit curb, but, well, looks like just another victim falls short of turn 5, so it just proven, once again, how difficult that corner is. Doesn't matter which car, we've seen pretty much each and every single car losing essentially, grip around there. So, as you can see, the Porsche now just comes in, well, loses on entry again, so that's the second Porsche we've seen lose on entry, and, I mean, amazing reflexes by some of these guys to avoid that instant. We saw the other Porsche, I'm not pretty sure who that was, just having amazing reflexes, and some of these guys are just avoiding instants like aliens, because I'm pretty sure I couldn't have done the same.
It is very wild out there, to say the least. If no matter where you are in the track, at this point there's lap vehicles all around that you always have to be looking ahead of you. And I know you're racing, and especially some of these pro drivers, I know they don't necessarily take their eyes off the screen in front of them, but I mean, you always have to be scanning your surroundings, because I mean, you never know when a lap vehicle could be coming off the gravel trap for that instance. I mean, that's just so crazy to me. In this race, it has definitely provided a lot of entertainment in clean racing, and if you are into crashes, look at this run! A bad exit for Harry Wills, side by side for second. Here comes Trevor.
Maybe just too good of a run. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be complaining about it. Trevor already finds himself ahead, but look at Wills. He's going to get the benefit of the slipstream once again, and Trevor is going to go defensive. Wills going to go down the outside. No, he switches. He tells him the dummy. He's going to be looking on the inside. Trevor holds it around the outside. Can Wills get the cutback? Yes, he can. No, he cannot. So, this is just fantastic racing from these two boys. I mean, they're just going at it. They have less than 7 minutes to go, but they're not giving up.
I hope they can make it to the checkered in one piece, because I want to hear from both of these drivers. They are absolutely leaving everything out on the track. Trevor now has the advantage, I think, for the first time in a while in this battle through the S's. Alex Trevor, can he defend now a very aggressive, very fast Harry Wills? And Wills, I mean, he's so aggressive. I know we're into the late minutes of this race, but he was aggressive enough to send it up the inside of the defensive line that Trevor had.
Yeah, exactly. Just sold him the dummy perfectly. Something we do not see so often. So just amazing to see, as we do have a Mercedes backmarker, unfortunately taking not the ideal road essentially to on turns number 6 and 7. But these two guys, I mean, they're just gonna go at it. Looks like Wills lost a bit of contact to Trevor with that lapped car, but I mean, if he's within a second, he's probably gonna get. Oh, as we do have a car crashed on the middle of the straight. So another odd instant, another car on an odd situation. Stu Leslie, that's, I mean, we don't see cars pointing at the wrong direction, at least there.
That is scary. I mean, that's right behind a crest on the fastest part of the racetrack. We'll have to see what happened to Stu Leslie. He was running all by himself.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, he was running by himself. So does he dip a wheel? Does he? Oh, he just goes a bit too wide on the grass, and unfortunately, just a small tap, luckily for him. But look at that. I mean, obviously it wasn't his rejoin. The car obviously doesn't have ABS, so the car just kind of rolls back. But how lucky was him to not get collected from the top 3 essentially? I mean, that was just so close between those guys. I'm pretty sure their hearts skipped a beat, because mine certainly would.
Absolutely, and I mean, whew, I mean, what if you're Stu Leslie in that battle? And look at this. This is Dent. I'm sorry, that's lapping a vehicle. My apologies. That's Dent lapping Daniel Tenorio. But if you're Stu Leslie, I mean, what do? You're spinning out in the middle of the fastest part of the track and pretty much out of control, kind of just hoping that nobody hits you. I mean, he did a great job. I know he started rolling down the hill, but he put on the brakes as soon as he realized that he was just going to continue to put himself in harm's way.
Yeah, exactly. He did a perfect job, and with these GT3 cars, you just have to mash on the brake and just hope that the car doesn't steer you back on the racing line. You know, with no ABS, sometimes you're just riding the wave. You know, you're just riding the momentum of where the car was pointing, and sometimes it's the worst possible place back on the racing circuit, and that's the case that we saw. But luckily for him, no one got collected. He only has small, I guess, damage, a small bit of damage to his front end, but probably not gonna affect him a lot. But well, Dench, even with that damage, he was able to stretch out the lead to 11 seconds. Obviously, Trevor and Will's battling definitely helped, but I mean, the pace was clear from qualifying, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Another spot for Blake Scott puts him into the 7th position. This is an amazing run for the amateur Blake Scott, the driver out of California. Really showing up tonight. His next closest competitor is last week's amateur winner, who's gotten that car repaired, by the way, Joshua Benjamin, but he's down in the 12th position. Did he make a mistake by maybe letting that damaged car sit on the racetrack for so long?
Well, it's definitely be interesting, and definitely something that could play out in the championship standing. Obviously, they're going to be just flipping, but look at this right now. We do have an amateur driver ahead of a pro driver. What is the protocol here? Can he defend only 2 minutes and 40 seconds? Now, will he defend from Kaiko to hold off that overall P7 position, or will he allow Kaiko to essentially just go by in, because he's in a lead on a different class? So I'm not pretty sure what the mindset will be for Blake Scott. Is he trying to prove a point that he's just as fast as some pro drivers? I mean, only time will tell.
I don't know. Here's the thing. At the same time, Kaiko's car is damaged. Kaiko's not fighting for a spot in class. This is a very intriguing situation to continue to see here. This is the closest battle on track for the overall 7th position. Of course, Blake Scott in 7th overall, but leading the amateur categories, Shane Kaiko. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! No. Within 2 minutes to go, that mistake's gonna cost him a lot. Within 2 minutes to go, can he nurse that car if he doesn't have the mandatory repair flag? Can he nurse that car within 2 laps to go to the finish to stay ahead of his main championship rival, or will he be obliged to go back to the pit lane to essentially repair that car? Because I'm speechless just how much a race can turn on its head within seconds.
I mean, that's just how quickly things can happen at Road Atlanta. Now, he's got a large margin. We'll see this replay once again. This is the camera we saw live as well. Curbing there in the 4 and 5. Just caught the left side curbing, and I mean, he was a passenger once he caught that inside curbing.
Yeah, I mean, and those jumps definitely did not help him, allowed him to slow down whatsoever, and he just head straight first into the barrier. That obviously could help him a bit if he doesn't have any suspension damage, and obviously the engine on the Lamborghini is a mid-engine car, so it's not on the front like it's on the Mercedes or the BMW, so that could also help him quite a bit. Now the gap is closing down between him and Joshua Benjamin, but is it going down fast enough?
I don't think Benjamin has a legitimate opportunity. It comes down to, is he going to be forced to pit here for, like you said, the required repairs flag, the meatball flag is we call it. There's a car coming to a stop at Frederick DeMaio going around off the chicane, but our race leader Matthew Dench has taken the, well, started the final lap. It's not official that we're on the white flag yet, but he did take the white flag at the flag stand, and now Matthew Dench has officially, I guess, triggered the white flag presented by Tucson Sound Out, of course, and Matthew Dench with his 11-second advantage. A phenomenal job today. Just now has half the circuit to go. Really only one, after this corner, one real braking zone left in this race. A phenomenal job from Matthew Dench, but it did not come easy. Jackson Resende put up a amazing fight, and then getting caught up with the lap vehicle, it just worked out in Dench's favor.
Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, me and you, Emerson, the viewers, got robbed from a spectacular finish between him and Resende, but you know, it's definitely deserved as well. He has shown the pace since qualifying. He was within thousands of the pole, and he led quite a bit of the race, and well, this win is definitely deserved for him as well. Matthew Dench, after coming quite close last week, he does finally win on the second round, and well, I'm pretty sure he's going to be ecstatic with that.
As Matthew Dench will win here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Harry Wales, is he out of fuel? Harry Wales from the podium, and that car is sputtering.
He was in third place. Look at him just tumbling down. He's already in fifth. Can he cross the line before Nixon? Is that Nixon? Oh, it is. Oh my God, he's gonna lose 2 positions, does he? No, looks like he only lost 1, and he's gonna finish off in P6. And that's the tidiest of margins. He was battling on pit lane, remember? So that's some of the risks that some drivers take to essentially get track position, but unfortunately, the calculator got a bit wrong, and unfortunately for him, after battling for second, he finishes off in 6th.
Well, you gotta think he was fighting so hard with Alex Trebor that maybe, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it is a road course, so you're still gonna end up using the same braking points relatively, but maybe was the battle of Alex Trebor enough to throw off the calculation? But as you said, he was battling in the pit lane. Maybe he attempted to under-fuel the car, hoping he can get out to a little bit of an advantage and save fuel, but Trebor just really caught up to him right away. Matthew Dench has already pulled off the track, so Alex Trebor is our highest running driver on the cooldown lap. But, I mean, how the turns have tabled in not in Harry Wills' favor. After he was looking for some very steady for a second place finish, Scott Rister will make his way onto the podium.
I mean, Rister is going to be ecstatic with that result because it pretty much came out of nowhere literally on the final corner of the race. And well, I mean, the race is only over when the checker flag drops, and well, that's just the final. I mean, that just proven everything.
Absolutely. I have to say, JP, I think what we just witnessed was an instant classic at Road America. Action all day, battles all day. Well, we're gonna take a break, and we'll be on the far side of the break. We're gonna dissect it all with our post-race interviews. Hopefully we'll get to hear from Matthew Dench and see what he thought about the incident with the lap vehicle. All this and more coming up on the far side of our now post-race break. You're not gonna want to miss all the post-race coverage here of the NARL from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta 8. Again, I think an instant classic we saw tonight, and you're gonna want to stick around.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence.
Welcome, race fans, back to the virtual Brazelton, Georgia, here at the virtual Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, where we saw an instant classic here at, again, one of the most iconic American road racing venues. Matthew Dench just showed up and absolutely had a ball out in front, led a lot of the race, but it was not uncontested. Matthew Dench had to go through, of course, Jackson Resende for a good chunk of the race, and then the incident with lap traffic as well. Not of your own doing, Matthew, but first talk. Before we'll get to the incident in a second with the lap car, but first about your race itself, Matthew. How'd it go? How are you content with the way you performed? I guess taking the are you content with the race, the way the race went?
The race was pretty good up until like the little incident at the last corner there, but the speed difference between what we're running up front and the cars we were lapping is quite a big one, and yeah, we're getting checked up in places we didn't really expect to be getting checked up. I ended up bumping a white McLaren as well through the bottom of the S's, but overall it's really good track, really tricky on some of the corners, super bumpy, fast speeds. Yeah, really good there.
Absolutely. Right from the moment qualifying ended, where we saw the margin between you and Resende, 19 1/1000ths, the gap in qualifying between you two. did you expect Resende to kind of carry that over to the race? And then when you were able to kind of, I say easily, but nothing's really easy, especially when you're going against somebody like a Jackson Resende. But it looked easy, your overtake on Resende, and then you were able to hold him off through the pit stop. Were you expecting that after how close it was in quali?
I think our qualifying times were a bit slow, to be honest. I know Jackson was running 18.3s in practice, and I also ran 18.3s and 18.2s. So I think we probably just both messed up our quali laps, to be honest.
All right. So we get to the race, the pit stop happens, and ultimately I think what came down to it was the pole position that Resende had. But what do you think was the ultimate thing that switched the lead right there on the green flag ground, the pit stops?
Yeah, I ended up overfilling by probably like 4 or 5 liters, but yeah, I think Jackson he got to save a lot of fuel. Like I tried sitting in behind him for the first few laps, and I was just like, I'm gonna end up making a mistake, not being able to see anything on these blind corners. So I just thought I'd go by and just try and get away. But yeah, just you burn a bit too much fuel and you can't save as much. So yeah, the pit stop comes around. He's still with a second, so he gets by.
All right, and now we'll get to the question I think everybody's been waiting for. What did you see when the lap vehicle was trying to get out of Resende's way? They came together. And of course, there wasn't much room for you to get by yourself, and there was contact between you and Resende as well. What did you all see from that?
Yeah, I had a look at the replay. On the replay, it showed his car straightening up straight away, but during the race, it looked like he was like did a bit of a fishtail. So I tried to go 2 wheels out on the grass, and yeah, there's not much I can really do from that point onwards. There was maybe like a foot gap between our cars, so a bit of net code, unfortunately.
Right. By no means was that your fault. It was just a whole chain reaction of events that stemmed from the initial conflict between Jackson and the lap vehicle. But Matthew, with that being said, you led 31 of the 38 laps ran today. A very dominant performance at that. I know it was highly contested by Jackson all day, but a very dominating performance. You can leave today very content with your run today at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. How do you feel about next time out at Interlagos?
Interlagos, another really fun track. I just got done the other day doing another league race there, so I'm pretty familiar with the track already. So it should be great.
Right on, Matthew. We're gonna give you the floor now to shout out whoever you got a shout out. Thank you, ever gonna thank for your very dominant race-winning run today here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta.
There's no thank you. Still flying solo with everything, so yeah, just winging it.
Fair enough. Well, Matthew, once again, congratulations on the win today at Road Atlanta. Best of luck to you next time out at Interlagos.
All right, thank you.
And that was race winner, overall race winner, and pro race winner, Matthew Dench. Now we're going to send it over to JP Costa, who's standing by with our amateur race winner, Blake Scott.
So Blake Scott, what a performance you had tonight. I mean, honestly, it's just so amazing to see an amateur driver, sticking up with some of the big guys in the pro class, and obviously finish up in 7th place overall. I mean, that's just an amazing result. Talk us just through your race, I mean, in general, without going into specifics, because it just seemed like you were on your own in the pocket of air during the race, and you just felt comfortable in it.
Yeah, man, I had a great race. I was having a lot of fun out there. I got lucky. I was able to kind of jump in between a couple of pros and separate myself from the 2nd place AM car and put a little gap between me and him. And from there on, I was just in the zone. Felt like I checked out, and yeah, from there on, I had a great race.
Well, you definitely checked out from the other, even pro drivers, but you definitely checked out from the other amateur drivers. And near the end, we saw you battling with another pro driver, and a question came up to the booth, how would you react? How were you going to react? Do you just let them by because they're on a different class, or do you actually defend for the overall position?
Yeah, I definitely want to be respectful towards the pro class, but at the same time, it is battling for position on track, so I will battle, but I'm not going to take them out. But yeah, I had a lot of fun out there battling with the pros. It was cool.
And I mean, within 2 minutes to go, I'm pretty sure you're I'm pretty sure your heart sank. You know, we all saw the incident. We saw it live, actually, pretty much happening. And I mean, just talk us through what happened.
Yeah, I had I don't know who exactly was right behind me, but I had a pro right behind me who I wanted to keep behind me for position, and I just took my eyes. I don't know. I lost focus there for a second and went off after the S's. Luckily, I was able to keep the car going and keep my race going, so I was happy about that.
Well, you were laughing. We were so worried that you were going to get like a black required repairs flag, but luckily it seemed like that wasn't the case. And I mean, our hearts sank at that moment in time because you were having such a fantastic race, and within 2 minutes to go to everything nearly go wrong. I mean, it was pretty much gut wrenching for us, but you know, it was a fantastic result. You managed to pull it through. Who do you have to thank for your win?
I'd like to thank Scott Racing, my dad out there, threw my livery together today for the Lambo. Last minute, I was actually going to drive the Porsche. So yeah, shout out Scott Racing. Hopefully he's up here battling with me next week at Interlagos. Looking forward to it.
Well, looking forward to hopefully talking to you next week as well. I wish you best of luck.
Alrighty, have a good night. Thanks, guys.
Well, that was Blake Scott, our amateur class winner. Unfortunately, quite close to finishing 7th place overall with that late instant, but I'm gonna pass it back to you, Emerson, for the 2nd place pro finisher, Alex Treber.
What was it like? Walk us through that.
So, first of all, thanks for hosting. I love y'all's commentary and everything. I've ran with y'all before with Pit Stop, so I'm glad to be running another league with y'all again. But yeah, I missed last week because I had another league that finished, and I watched last week's race, and I was kind of seeing who was fast and who's running what cars and what, and I'm planning on running the Merc pretty much the whole league, the whole season. But yeah, early in the week was running some practice, kind of seeing where I was falling in line. And, Road Atlanta is one of my really best tracks as far as the Mercedes, and so I know the car and the track fit really well, and so just kind of really starting to settle in. And I messed up qualifying on a couple laps, and so otherwise I would have been a little bit higher. But obviously outcome worked out. With Scott, with Harry, coming into the pits, Harry jumped me in the pits somehow, and I'm like, man, he got out really fast. That was a quick fuel, and turns out he underfueled. So, was just trying to keep everything as clean as possible and have a good race, and just kind of trying to pick my shots. The guys for the first half of the race up front were kind of drafting the whole time, so I know they were going to be saving fuel. I know they're going to be saving tires, so I was trying to do a little bit of that while also trying to maintain some gap and keep some distance as well too, and not get a punt on somebody on accident. So yeah, and then fighting with Harry the whole time at the end was crazy. He's definitely got some pace, and he knows where to put the car to keep you behind him. So it was definitely intense.
Absolutely, very intensity. There's even one moment I vividly remember when you had defended into the chicane, and he sent it even to the inside of your defensive line. Were you expecting that? I mean, I guess it was always a very heart-filled battle all race long, but I guess that move in particular, did that catch you off guard, or did you pretty much expect that with just how hard that battle was going all race long?
I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I was ready for it. He didn't seem to like he was lifting off, and I was getting in the middle of track, and so there's only so much braking room that you got in the Mercedes down the hill, and so thinking he was going to overshoot it a couple times, and he made it stick. So he obviously probably had a little bit better tire on him, at the end than I did, but definitely knows how to defend and put the car in the right place, and can make you wonder a little bit what he's doing at times.
Absolutely. So I know your debut here in the North American Racing League. Dench and Resende, they appeared gone. Was there anything different you could have done to maybe have something for the top two? I know Resende had his accident with the lap vehicle, but was there anything you had for maybe Dench there? Or, I mean, was he just that far gone?
I mean, I think at the end he ended up with a 10, 11 second gap in front of me. I'd have to go back and look at replay and see where he's at, but Dench is definitely quick. You know, he's got the eye rating to show for it. You know, and again, what I was saying earlier in the week in practice, I was, you know, looking at times and everything and had some pretty good, you know, felt like I had some pretty good pace and just didn't put in the qual that I wanted to. Otherwise, I think it probably would have been a little bit different, but, you know, had a lot of fun. Like I said, I can't wait until next week.
Well, speaking of next week, we head to Interlagos. How do you feel about heading down to Brazil virtually?
So I've ran a lot of laps around in mini cars at Interlagos, and so I do know the track pretty well. It's a little tough for the Mercedes, so we'll kind of have to see how I feel with it next week. I know we are allowed to change cars, but it's definitely a fun track. I've had a lot of good races there, and it puts up some good battles, makes for some racing.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, once again, congratulations on a second place finish overall and the phenomenal race you had today. Who do you got to shout out? Who do you got to thank for getting it all done here today at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta?
Got to say, you know, thanks for FTR for putting up the time and letting me run with them and everything. KM and Cargo, you know, race pace. Yeah, just had a really good time, and can't wait till next week.
Absolutely. Well, once again, Alex, congratulations on your second place finish overall. Best luck to you next week at Interlagos.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you.
And that was second place overall finisher Alex Trevor, second place finisher in the Pro category. JP, you're going to be standing by with our second place finisher in the amateur category and last week's amateur class winner, Joshua Benjamin.
So Joshua, unfortunately for you, was not a repeat of what we saw last week, but you kind of had a quiet race throughout the field. The beginning was a bit hectic, but after nearly the end, it kind of just calmed down, didn't it?
I might have looked quiet from your guys' perspective, not from mine. Nah, honestly, I wasn't expecting to be able to talk to you guys this week. I botched all 3 of my qualifying laps, so I had to start 29th, and then somebody lost it on the pace lap and ripped my nose off.
Oh, so yeah, me and Emerson were kind of contemplating how did that damage happen, and I guess, well, we kind of got answered really quickly. So on the pace lap already, not starting ideally, I guess, your race, but as you mentioned, you botched 3 of your qualifying laps, so it was a bit of a recovery race from your point of view.
It wasn't even recovery, it was all about survival. I was saying that all week. This is not one of my strongest tracks. I'm not very confident here. The rest of this series, I'm looking really, really good. If this is how I perform at my worst track, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention, well, if this is not your favorite track, this is not a track that you do very well. I mean, you should be really golden, and obviously next week at Interlagos it should be really interesting. But before we go there at Interlagos, I mean, just talk us through how difficult this track was. You talked it. It's just about surviving. How is it so difficult?
There's only really 2 passing zones. You can only really pass when you're getting down heavy into the brakes, or if you're lucky and get a run through T1, or sorry, through the last turn. If those are really the only options you have, and other than that, you just got to fall in line through the S's and hope nobody spins in front of you and collects you into something that's not of your doing.
And well, next week is going to be quite the opposite, isn't it? Interlagos provides us great racing throughout the racetrack itself. It's just open for overtakes, and well, you said you feel quite comfortable. Is Interlagos one of your strongest tracks?
Interlagos, I've put a lot of hours in. I like that track a lot. It's not, I wouldn't say it's one of my strongest, but passion has a funny way of trumping logic, and I really, really like that place.
Well, obviously being my home track is just, warms my heart hearing those words. But yeah, it's a fantastic racetrack, and with that confidence, I'm pretty sure we're gonna be hearing from you next week. But before I let you go, who do you have to thank for?
Thank Team Mystic again for the support. I'd like to thank the NARL for making this happen. I'd like to thank you guys for this amazing broadcast. Thanks, everyone.
Well, thank you, and hopefully, as we mentioned, we'll talk to you next week, and well, we'll see that Lambo hopefully with just one piece. But yeah, Emerson, that was Joshua Benjamin, our second place finisher of tonight's race. Unfortunately, one spot shy of where he was last week, but sounds really confident for next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people make a grab bag of emotions, kind of like heading into Road Atlanta, though, in my opinion. I don't know how you can not like Road Atlanta. But anyway, and I'm sure you'd probably say the same about Interlagos. But anyway, we look at it, they're difficult tracks. By no stretch of the imagination are they going to be easy circuits today at Road Atlanta or next week at Interlagos. So I do expect a grab bag of emotions. But it's very interesting to see that these drivers doing well have mixed emotions about every track. We're just going to have to see if they can, show up and put the same performances they've had over the past couple weeks right up to par with next week at Interlagos, or will somebody else step up to the plate? But let's see how everybody else came down to the checkered, if they did come down to the checkered, because it was wild to say the least. I don't even know. I mean, we still had changes. The third place driver in the overall standings changed in the last corner. Scott Rister took third position there over Harry Wills, running out of fuel. Actually, he's classified in 10th. My goodness, that's actually, I don't think that is the correct classification. So we're gonna do it there. See if we can get this correct here. No, I don't. Oh yeah, Scott Rister's there in third. Micah Barnett in fourth. EJ Nixon will come home in 5th over Shane Kaiko 6th, Ian Lake in 7th, Armando Bejaran in 8th, Blake Scott 9th, and Harry Wills in 10th.
Finish off in 11th place, we do have Fabio Zamperlini, so unfortunately that early strategy did not work. Joshua Benjamin, who we just heard from, finished off in 12th, the first car to go a lap down. Daniel Tenorio in 13th, William Coffey in 14th, JP Alfonso in 15th, Giuseppe Rivas in 16th, Jackson Rezende, unfortunately, after battling for the lead, is going to finish off in 17th. Josue Monrado Manriquez is going to finish off in 18th. John Sedlak in 19th, and Bruno Alcaraz in 20th.
On to the next page, the results we'll see Federico Tamayo, who had a lot of these drivers on this page, honestly had some trouble tonight. Philip Ranieri in 22nd, Mike Braun in 23rd, Chad Klinger 24th, Stu Leslie had his trouble into the chicane there in 25th, Mark Scott 26th. Our astronaut in chief Tyler Graff will be 27th after he came down from his landing from the moon and had another off in turn number 1. WF Armero Jr. comes home 28th. Clarence Rosa will start from the pit lane, come home in 29th. Tyler Campbell there in 30th. I'm sorry, not Tyler Graff. Tyler Graff did not go to me. Tyler Campbell did. I cannot get our astronauts confused. The Tylers, I did get confused. Aldo Secklin 33rd, Sean Patterson 32nd, and Greg Fullwood in 33rd. Fullwood only made a couple of laps, and he will fall out of the race very early. But JP, I've said many times now that I thoroughly enjoyed this race from all aspects. Well, what say you about the show we had put in front of us tonight?
I mean, it's just something that we expect from Road Atlanta, isn't it? It's unfortunately a bit of carnage, but we just kind of get used to it because the curbs are so unforgiving, the track is just so unforgiving. But after we look past that, we do see amazing battles for positions. We saw the lead changing, we saw people battling for podium spots, and we saw battles throughout the grid. Just people going side by side, just dive bombing each other, and that's just fun of the circuit. It's just built in this way. Unfortunately, it does have a small section, the S section, where you can't really overtake, but after that, you can just apply so much pressure to the guy ahead, and you can actually have places to overtake that just provides fantastic racing throughout the night.
Absolutely, and of course, we're going to take this time now to shout out some of our partners at the North American Racing League. Like, of course, we have Race Lab, which helps you improve your driving skills with modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration. You can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at Racelab. Ooh, wow. Racelab.app. My apologies there. JS Consulting provides custom website and app development, including iRacing League website design and hosting. Find JS Consulting at johnsedlak.com, and Tam Liveries offers custom packages for some of the best livery designs in iRacing. Used by pros and amateurs, you'll definitely look good on the track. And of course, our partners here at PitStopTV, who make things go around and keep the lights on here. Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. You can check them out there at the website www.tucsonsoundart.com. We're also presented by Race Pace Setups. Of course, pick up pace with Race Pace, a community-driven setup shop and driver development program. There's that Discord link in the bottom right. Go check them out if you want to get in on all the sports car setup action in that community. Great community over there that Tyler Campbell has. Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. You can check them out. Contact them at permanentmakeupinmaine.com. Our friends at BAM Racing Videos by a race fan for the racing community. And of course, Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of PitStopTV. Make sure you check out www.pitstoptv.com/whiplash for us to see how you can get in on all the iBroadcast camera and graphic action. And of course, also stick around at www.pitstoptv.com and hit that / and type in Cars Esports Tour if you want to get in on the Cars Esports Tour action. The Cars Esports Tour is back. Entries are open to all Cars Tour competitors as well as other select short track stars and iRacers. Cars Esports Tour races will be held on Wednesdays. Practice starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. And of course, make sure you go to that website, www.pitstoptv.com /Cars Esports Tour for more info. And speaking of it, the Cars Esports Tour, we kick it off next Wednesday night. Again, some of the best short track drivers in the nation and the world going at it with some of the best short track racers on iRacing. The Cars Esports Tour kicks off their opening round at the throwback, at the legacy track, if you will, North Wilkesboro Speedway, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday night, the Cars Esports Tour. I cannot wait to see how that 6-week short track series will go. Also on Wednesday, the Super Wednesday at PitStopTV, I like to start calling it now because we have had 2 broadcasts on the past 2 Wednesdays. It's only made quite the crew pull them off. Wednesday night, I'll be on a production and call of the Outlaw Sim Series in their 5th round of the season at the Phoenix Raceway. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time is when they go live. And next Thursday night, the North American Racing League action will continue. JP at Interlagos. How are you feeling about that?
Well, I'm definitely excited to see a race around my home track. We're going to be seeing 2 Brazilians at least on the sim as well racing, so it's going to be a fantastic event. I'm pretty sure Interlagos, doesn't matter which car you race, it's just a circuit that's going to provide great racing. And well, it should be a comeback driver for one of those Brazilian drivers at least, if he wants to keep in fight for that championship position.
Absolutely. And if you want to keep up with all of these series here at PitStopTV, now Nork, you don't see on this graphic, Nork is taking an off week this week. They'll be back with their action at Legacy Daytona in a couple of Tuesdays from, not this upcoming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. But you can keep up with updates like that and more at PitStopTV and our social media outlets, where we have been absolutely on it. Trish Shelders with Andrew Cardinale, the fourth, and myself, pumping out social media content all week long. You can check them out at facebook.com /PitStopTV. You can check out our Instagram at pit_stop_TV and our Twitter at PitStopTV_. We have a Twitch channel, of course, where we have these races going live as well. Twitch.tv /pit_stop_TV, and our YouTube channel, youtube.com /PitStopTV1. But yeah, that's gonna do it for us here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. Happy to have had you all here for tonight's action, tuning in and joining us, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. And for all of us at PitStopTV, João Paulo Costa alongside me, Trey Shuttlesworth on social media coverage, I'm Emerson Arden. Thank you all for tuning in. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay cool. We will see y'all next time.